Happy Friday, friends! We made it, and it's time to bake chocolate chip cookies. I'm so excited! All right, so hopefully you were able to get some chocolate chips. I am going to use my Nestle Toll House chocolate chips, but any chocolate chips will do. Sometimes people like to even do butterscotch chips or peanut butter or nuts, whatever you like, but I'm going to use my milk chocolate chips today. So first thing we want to do before we start cooking is, of course, wash our hands. So I have done that just before I started today. So make sure you wash up, and we'll start with clean hands. And I'm just going to talk about some of the tools that we're going to be using today in the kitchen. So first thing is I have my mixing bowls. So I have a large mixing bowl here for the wet ingredients, which is going to include the sugar and eggs. And then I have a small bowl here and a little spatula for my dry ingredients, which is going to include my flour and baking soda. So I'm going to set these aside for a minute. We also have a mixer. So when I was little, and whenever we would make cookies, I would just use a spoon and my strong arm muscles. But today, for fun, I thought I'd try a mixer. So either way works fine. And then we're going to be using measuring cups and measuring spoons for our ingredients. So I wanted to show you, I'm sure you've used these before in the kitchen. This is a measuring cup, and this is 1 cup full. And then we're also going to be using a 1/4 cup full. So it's the smallest one of the set. All right, so we'll set those aside. And then here are our measuring spoons. So we have a tablespoon on here. A tablespoon is the large one. A teaspoon is the next size. 1/2 teaspoon and 1/4 teaspoon. All right, so today we're going to be using the teaspoon. So we'll set that here. And then, of course, we have our ingredients and our cookie sheet ready in order to bake our cookies. So first we will start with the dry ingredients. So I'm going to use my small bowl here. I'm going to get this mixer out of the way. And I'm going to start with my flour. So the recipe calls for 2 1/4 cups of flour. So I'm going to start with my 1 cup here, and I'm going to kind of dig it in here into my bag of flour. And what I like to do is use a butter knife and just kind of level out that flour so we know that we have just what we want. It's kind of fun sliding the knife across there to make it flat. All right, so here's my flour. So here goes in 1 cup. All right, we have to go in and do another one. So here we go. We're dipping our cup in here, getting it all full of flour. Whoops, I need to try that again. My bag's a little small, so it's a little tricky. All right, so here we go with the knife. We're going to flatten it out on there, make sure we have just what we need. And here goes cup number 2. All right, so in addition to 2 cups, we need 2 and then 1/4 cup. So we're going to use our small 1/4 cup right here. It's the smallest one. So here we go. We're going to dip it in our flour. Same thing with the knife. Level it out. That's always the best part. And then here we go. We're going to dump it in our bowl. All right, here we go. The next ingredient is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So I have my baking soda here, and I have my teaspoon ready. And I'm going to measure this over the sink because the opening is a little small. So I'm going to get a nice level teaspoon of that and add it in. Plop, there we go. We also need 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to use my big container of salt here instead of my salt grinder. We're going to level that out and add our salt. All right, so now we're going to take our little spatula here and we're going to just gently mix that together. Perfect. All right, so we're going to set this one aside, and then we're going to get our large mixing bowl. And this is for our wet ingredients. So first we're going to start with 2 sticks of softened butter. All right, so I'm going to just take this from the wrapper here, and I'm going to dunk it right into my mixing bowl. There goes 1 stick. And And here goes number 2. Butter makes these cookies nice and creamy and delicious. All right, I'm just gonna grab a paper towel real quick. My hands got a little messy there. Okay, well that's part of the fun though, right? So after our 2 sticks of butter, we need 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Yum! All right, so we could measure this in 2 ways. We could either take our large cup, 1 cup, and we could fill it almost all the way full, or we can have fun and we can take our 1/4 cup and fill it 3 times. So I think that sounds like the way to go here. So let's fill this 3 times. So here we go into our sugar. Level it off. 1. 2. And 3. Whoa, that's a lot of sugar. All right, number 3 is going in. Next, we need 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. So brown sugar is kind of fun to work with because it's kind of smushy when you handle it in the bag. So I like to just use my hands for this, even though it gets a little messy, but that's okay. So I'm going to use my hand. I'm going to kind of gently drag it out here into my cup, and I'm just going to kind of gently press it down so I make sure I get enough of it in my measuring cup. So we also need 3 of these. So here we go. 1. I love the smell of brown sugar. It just smells so warm. It smells like cookies. All right, and number 2 going in. 1 more to go. And here we go. Yum. All right, and number 3. All set. And then we are going to use our teaspoon again. We're going to use the teaspoon again for the 3rd time for our vanilla extract. All right, so I'm going to, now this is tricky. It comes out kind of fast. So here we go. I'm going to pour it into our teaspoon and add it right in. Yum. Okay, so like I said, feel free to use a spoon and get those muscles exercised and nice and strong, or you can try your mixer here. So I'm going to try the mixer for today for fun. And I'm going to put it on the lowest setting so that the sugar doesn't fly everywhere. And I'm going to mix the butter and the sugar and the vanilla extract all together. Yum, yum, yum. It's going to get nice and creamy. Thick and creamy. All right, that looks pretty good. So it looks kind of something like this. Now what the recipe calls for is for us to add 1 egg at a time and mix it in. So sometimes people like to crack an egg into another bowl to make sure they don't get shells and things. I just go for it. So I'm going to take my first egg, and you may have done this with your mom or dad before, but I kind of gently crack it on the side of the bowl, take my thumbs, spread the shell apart, and in goes the egg. All right, that's number 1. Oop, I got a little shell. That's okay. If you see a little piece of shell go in there, just go in and grab it and take it out. Feel free to mix this in between. I'm going to go ahead and do both my eggs so I can wash my hands. So here goes number 2. Egg number 2, crack it, use your thumbs, spread it apart, and in goes that egg. All right, I'm going to wash my hands really quickly since we were handling the raw egg. All right, that does the trick. That does the trick. All right, so now we're going to put our mixer back on the lowest setting so that it doesn't splatter on us. And we're just going to mix this together. And if you are using a mixer and you have your spatula handy, you can use the spatula. Maybe mommy or daddy can help. One of you can use the mixer and one of you can use the spatula to get the ingredients off the side of the bowl. Okay? And look, it's getting nice and creamy. All right, so we have those eggs all mixed in. I'm gonna turn this off. Now we get to go back and get the dry ingredients that we already mixed together before. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this slowly. We're gonna add this slowly to our mixture so that it doesn't fly all over the kitchen. Although I bet some of you would think that would be fun, but we're gonna do it little by little. So I added a little bit there. All right, I can add a little bit more. It always seems like so much flour and things, like it's not gonna all mix together, but it always does. All right, add a little bit more. And you can use that spatula again if you need to help get some of the flour off the sides of your bowl. And one more. Here we go. Oh, we're going for the rest of it. All right. And then the next part is going to be the best because we get to add our chocolate chips in, right? That's what we've been waiting for. All right. I'm going to mix this up another second or two. Make sure it's all mixed together really well. All right. Even this mixer is giving my arm a workout. All right, here we go. Now, I'm going to take a second and peek because I made a batch of cookies to test things out before we got together. So I'm just going to grab those out of the oven really quickly. All right. Can't remember if I mentioned, so we preheat our oven to 350 degrees to get it ready for our cookies. All right, so the last thing is our chocolate chips. All right, so I'm gonna pour those in. Yum! So delicious. And I'm gonna get these mixers off real quick, get these out of our way. Just kind of gently tap those. We don't wanna waste any of our cookie dough. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use my spatula here and just kind of gently fold those chocolate chips in so they're every bite you get a ton of chocolate. Yum. Yummy. Ooh, what a treat. This is gonna taste so good later with a nice cold glass of milk, some cookies. You can share them with your mommies and daddies or your brothers and sisters. All right, and I think we are good. So here's mine. Yum. I bet yours looks just as good. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our cookie sheet, and sometimes people use little ice cream scoopers so that all the cookies are the same size. I've always just used just a regular spoon and my hands, which is kind of fun. It's kind of fun to get your hands in your food when you're cooking, right? All right, so I just kind of get a little scoop there, a little ball, and I'm gonna place it right on my cookie sheet. I'm gonna keep doing that until I fill it up. Ooh, these are gonna be so good. Now I know you've been having fun this week working on Easter crafts for Mrs. Kornberg, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, happy Easter. It's gonna be a great weekend. The weather, I think the weather on Sunday is going to be pretty sunny, so hopefully you'll be able to get maybe an Easter egg hunt in, or maybe you've done that this week with the beautiful weather. Maybe you're going to dye some more eggs as a family. Hopefully you'll be able to still enjoy some of those Easter traditions. All right, so here we go. I have them on my cookie sheet. I'm going to keep working until I get it all filled and pop these in the oven for about 9 to 11 minutes. Friends, I had so much fun cooking with you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a very happy Easter, and I will see you soon. Bye!